Hello, I'm Mr. Denby. I'm Head of Languages and Head of French here at World Girls Grammar School. And in this short presentation, I'll tell you why I think you should consider a A-level in French, what you need to prepare for that, and what you can expect to do during the 2 years of the course. So I'm going to share with you a Google slide presentation. I'm going to go through it quite quickly. Obviously, after this, you can rewatch the presentation and pause the slides to read more detail. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen with you and talk you through the slides. So, A-level French at World Girls. Firstly, why bother studying a language? Well, we're going through a political interesting times with Brexit, etc. But regardless of what happens now, in the future, Britain will always need to trade with other countries, and there's a large number of French-speaking countries in the world, and most of our international business goes, well, a lot of it goes through French-speaking countries. And as they say, you can buy in English, but if you want to sell anything, you want to sell in the language of your customers. So businesses will always be looking out for people who can speak a foreign language. An A-level in French will also get you onto any university course, whether it's medicine, vet science, engineering, journalism. All university faculties welcome linguists. At university, there'll be opportunities. The Erasmus scheme has never been replaced by another one, but if you have a foreign language and there's an opportunity to a year abroad, that will obviously be much easier, and your choice of destination will be much wider. Now, the girls who do an A-level in languages always say that their interview skills are better, their confidence in speaking is better because they've had to express themselves in a foreign language. And university departments know this, and they know that linguists can make great students because they can express themselves, they've got a wider vocabulary and a convincing argument. But obviously, even if you don't want to work or study a language later on, having an A-level in a language is a pleasure, and it makes holidays abroad far more interesting. It gives you the chance perhaps to buy a house abroad, to settle abroad, and traveling certainly does broaden the mind. But not being fluent in a foreign language is the commonest regret amongst adults. There are lots of reasons scientifically proven why languages are good for your health and your well-being. Here's some which I won't read now, but you may come back later. Many students, in particular year number 4, really love the fact that you go abroad for a year and live independently and have to fend for yourself, and that's often cited as the best year of your life. So after school, you're probably wanting to go to university, and when you go there with your French A-level as part of your certificate, you have several options. You could do a Bachelor of Arts in French, or perhaps French with another language. Obviously, French is useful for that. French is essential for that. You may choose to do a Bachelor of Arts or Science in any subject, plus French. So lots of universities now allow you to carry on French or a language as part of your degree, so you end up with a skill plus a language. Okay, history in French, geography in French, whatever. And just this third point down here, some language faculties are shrinking, so the recruiters are very keen to recruit able students such as those who come from World Girls. So of all the girls who apply to do languages at university, whether it's by themselves or with another subject, the chances of being rejected are very slim indeed. You'll probably get your first choice. And even if you don't want to do French as part of your degree, French will allow you to access any degree. It is what we call a facilitating subject, i.e. it's considered as a challenging subject, not an easy A-level, and therefore it is accepted for all courses, whether it's law, medicine, vet science, engineering, biomedical science, anything. You can get onto any degree course with one of your A-levels as French. Here are some results from recent years to show that you have the potential to do extremely well here at World Girls. Some of these lists also tell you what the girls did. This one, for example, shows they went on to a range of things. Some did languages, like the top one here in Newcastle. Others did something completely different, like the second one here, history and politics. Psychology is there, medicine. Debbie did molecular bioengineering at Imperial College London, for example. So regardless of what you want to do, French A-level will help you get there. And the results are excellent. There's another one there. So what will you do as part of your A-level in French? Well, French, German and Spanish are all the same. So in French, you'll do in year 12 and 13, you'll cover social issues and trends and political issues and artistic culture. So you'll learn all aspects of life in French-speaking countries. You'll also continue to learn grammar, obviously, and you'll really become experts in grammar so that you can say or write anything you want to. And in the second year of the course, you'll study 2 literary works, a book and a film, which I'll talk about later. So what are the topics? What are these social and political and artistic topics? They follow on automatically from GCSE, but with far more depth and more interest for your increasingly adult mind. For example, at GCSE, you'll have done about the family and technology and work. And these continue into year 12, into the changing family, cyber society, voluntary work. So rather than just say, I have a sister and a brother, I argue with my brother, you'll study trends in society regarding gay marriage, for example, or the increase in divorce, or etc., etc. And rather than just talk about your mobile phone as you did in GCSE, for cyber society, you'll talk about how companies can protect themselves against cybercrime, for example, or the impact on education of online learning, for example. So it's more adult or more mature topics which suit your maturing mind perfectly. Similarly, also in year 12, at the bottom here, you'll learn about how France and French-speaking countries are proud of their heritage. You'll learn about French music and French cinema. In year 13, these topics continue into even more academic areas. So here the social issues, a diverse society, i.e. the pros and cons of immigration, for example, and multi-ethnic societies, life for the poor, those on the edge and the homeless, etc., and how society treats criminals, whether prison is a good thing or alternative sanctions are best. And on the political side, you'll do things like should teenagers have the right to vote at 16? You'll debate whether demonstrations and strikes are acceptable, and we'll look deeper into the politics of immigration. And those might seem very dry subjects to you now at 16, but these are the things you should be talking about as you get to be older and approaching the time to go to university, when you're talking about more deep conversations. For the film and the book, the teachers you have choose choose cultural topics which they're experts in and which they like and which they know you will like. So currently, for example, I teach a novel, Noé Moi, about a girl in Paris who befriends a homeless girl and tries to take her out of that situation. And Mrs. Lampkin teaches La Haine, a film about living in the poorer suburbs of France. And Mrs. Wheelock, sorry, this is not coloured in here, teaches a film, Au revoir les enfants, about the treatment of Jewish children in Nazi-occupied France. On that note, you will have two teachers for your A-level. Currently, it's me plus either Mrs. Wheelock or Mrs. Lampkin. Okay, so it depends on who you get, on what film you will study. Okay. So we love exams here, don't we? So how is it examined? Where you have 3 papers. The first paper is a long exam, 2.5 hours. This covers reading and listening and translations on all the topics you've done over the 2 years. So family, heritage, prison, etc., etc. For this, you have 2.5 hours. You have your own CD player and your own CD, and you can rewind, pause, whatever the sound for the listening, obviously. Okay. In paper 2, you just write 2 essays, one on the film and one on the book, an hour each. Okay, so only about 300 words, about a side of A4, normal sized handwriting. Sorry, and you're well prepared for those. Chances are you'll have written that essay in advance because we do a lot of practice ones. And paper 3 is the speaking part of the exam, and this is 23 minutes, but with 5 minutes preparation. Okay, in this one you get a role play, a speaking stimulus card with a photograph of, again, one of the topics you've done over the past 2 years, going back to prison, heritage, technology, etc. And you'll just have 5 minutes to prepare, and then talk about it for 5 or 6 minutes with your teacher. This exam, by the way, is conducted by your teacher, either me or one of my colleagues. So there's no stress about meeting some strange examiner on the day. The second part of the oral exam is a very creative part of the course. You can choose any research project you want, whether it's music, cinema, literature, or a social issue. Present your findings for 2 minutes and then spend around 10 minutes answering questions on that topic. This is a good part of the test because you can choose any subject you want, any singer you want, any film you love, and direct the conversation in the direction you choose. That's an outline of how that part of the exam works. Okay, I won't go through that now, I don't have time. But recent examples the girls have chosen here are shown here. Stromae is a pop singer, Intouchable is a comedy film, etc. But I won't read all those. It's usually a singer or a film or a book or a social concern. But they were all topics chosen by the girls because they were deeply interested in them. And that's really good preparation for doing a dissertation at university, for example. So why study French, and why study French here at Whirl? Well, we offer you 5 hours a week from 2 separate teachers. So you'll have French every day, but probably alternating teachers. Okay. You'll get a private 30-minute session every week with our assistante, currently Miss Rubio, but perhaps a student from France next year. We have the latest resources in textbooks and online materials, so you can do all the work with your computer. We've got lots of websites to help you to study, etc. We've got a library department full of CDs, DVDs, etc., etc., and videos, and not any longer, but Blu-ray and DVDs, obviously. We have our own ICT suite that you can use anytime. And as a department, we have a film club twice a week. We try to get you out to visit your local universities, even local restaurants sometimes as a treat. And we invite visiting speakers in to talk about their experiences in languages. And we also, if COVID allows, take you to Paris during your course of study. As you saw at the start of this presentation, the results are excellent, and there are lots of girls who go off to carry on studying French at university. What do we expect from you? Well, a high grade at GCSE. Okay, we'll consider you with a 6, but really if you are to succeed at A level, you should be looking at least a 7 or an 8 at GCSE. More important than that, we want you to have a genuine interest in French. Okay, so be ready to really immerse yourself in French. Read things online for pleasure, listen to music for pleasure, read magazines, articles, etc. Obviously, you'll come to all lessons and all extra sessions with your assistante, and a real desire. You need to want this, want to become fluent. When you leave, you will be fluent, and it's a real life skill you will never forget. So in preparation, perhaps you could start to look at some websites on a daily basis. If you're going to watch films, put the subtitles on or put them in French. Okay, you have these great potential resources at your fingertips these days. Okay, ask your teachers for extra reading now. Have a conversation with your teacher. Ask her or him if they think you're suitable. And on a practical note, learn your grammar. Make sure you do that grammar workbook from your GCSE so you're clear and ready to start, hit the ground running. Okay, that's my contact details if you have any further questions. Okay, so we'll stop there. I will add a short film from a girl who left recently and went on to study at university, and she talks about her experience of doing French A level here. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.